Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we started. Oh, I'm just writing a short story for the short story contest. What do you mean I can't enter my own contest? But I need a random unique weapon ticket and a random unique treasure ticket. Fine. In that case, I want to read a story from our raiders about Ophelia. Yes, a good story always has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Yes, something interesting, something exciting. Oh, I can't wait. Hello, Raiders, and welcome to episode 9 of What Do You Know, a series where we explore the skills and backstory of a hero from King's Raid. And today's hero is none other than Ophelia. Alright, you know how we do. It's time for me to try to explain everything I can about Ophelia's backstory, but I only have 60 seconds. Alright, I put just over a minute on the clock, so let's get started. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, so Ophelia, she is a witch and an astrologer, and she carries around tarot cards that she considers her friends or family. Their names are Carta, Elysiad, Valkia, Penelope, and Gigantes. She was a member of the Stardust Troupe up until recently, when she left to search for her destined one, a man, as it were, that she saw in her dreams that chased away the darkness of the world. Cassell. Ooh, excuse me. She went to go pray at the World Tree on a special day for astrologers, and it didn't go as planned because one of her cards, Valkia, ended up disappearing. In fact, all of her cards disappeared. Dun dun dun! Ophelia was understandably distraught, and so in search of her cards, she descended deeper and deeper into the forest of the World Tree. That's when she runs into Leo, who offers to help her find her missing cards. But there's a catch, because Leo is actually an author and thinks her journey to find her destined one is actually perfect material for his next novel. Well, I ran out of time, but to be honest, I didn't want to spoil her sub-story for you anyway. If you're curious as to how this story develops, you can check out her sub-story by visiting her profile. Now that we know a little bit more about her backstory, let's take a look at her skills. Ophelia is a versatile hero from the wizard class and has a magic attack type. Now, if you remember from the last episode of What Do You Know, I stated that as a general rule, this means that she will be more effective on a team with heroes that also have a magic attack type. Ophelia is most often used as a main DPS, but thanks to her variety of skills, her role is a bit flexible. She can even be used as a sub-DPS. Her skills are based on the cards she carries. The card of death, Carta, the card of love, Elysiad, and the card of fortune, Valkia. Her first skill, the card of death, Carta, deals magic damage and inflicts stun for 3 seconds. Upon using this skill, she will be granted the card of death. This skill also consumes the card in possession to deal additional effects. Let's discuss this granting and consumption of cards later. Let's just go over each skill's basic function first. Ophelia's second skill, the card of love, grants her a mana recovery per second and attack boost. Upon using this skill, she will be granted the card of love. Her third skill is called the card of fortune, Valkia. This skill cannot miss and deals damage to multiple enemy targets on the battlefield. This means that this skill deals AoE, area of effect, damage. It also deals increased crit damage. And upon use of this skill, she will gain the luck card. Her passive, also known as her fourth skill, is called the Pathfinder of Fate. This will increase her allies' attack and crit chance. And because of this, it might actually be nice to have her on your team as a sub-DPS too. Now we know the basic function of each of her 4 skills. But I mentioned earlier that these skills will grant cards as well as consume cards in her possession, resulting in additional effects. So what does it mean by card in possession? If you look at this video, you'll notice that a card appears above Ophelia after she uses a skill. This is Carta, the card of death. It is granted after using skill 1. This is the card of love, Elysiad. This is granted after using skill 2. This is the card of fortune, Valkia. This is granted after she uses skill 3. You will see these cards disappear from above her head once the card has been consumed. This is when it will result in additional effects. So let's take a look at Ophelia's first skill again. If she had used skill 1 previously, waited for its cooldown, and used skill 1 again, her damage would ignore the target's defense and the stun duration on the enemy would increase. You'll note that because of the long cooldown of 15 seconds, this might not be a very effective tactic. If she had used skill 2, Love, before casting skill 1, she would deal additional magic damage and reduce the enemy's heal rate. Additional magic damage is nice, and reducing the enemy's heal rate might be great in some content, but you would still suffer from the long cooldown if you wanted to exclusively use this function. If she had used skill 3, Fortune, before casting skill 1, her cooldowns are reset. Now let's take a look at her second skill. If she had used skill 1, Death, before casting skill 2, she would have her defense penetration increased and gain CC immunity. If she had used skill 3, Fortune, before casting skill 2, the cooldown would reset. This means that she can use her second skill and third skill in a loop with low cooldown times. This is one of the main skill combinations for Ophelia as a sub-DPS. This will allow you to dispel positive effects from enemies and deal considerate damage. If she had only used skill 2 previously, waited for its cooldown, and used skill 2 again, the attack boost and mana recovery per second boost would apply to all allies, not just herself. Now let's discuss the additional effects of her third skill. If she had used skill 1, Death, before casting skill 3, the Death card would be consumed and her crit damage would be increased. If she had used skill 2, Love, before casting skill 3, the Love card would be consumed and she would dispel positive effects from enemies in range and silence them. If she had only used skill 3 previously and wanted to use skill 3 again, the Fortune card would be consumed and look, her cooldown resets. This means that you can spam skill 3 again and again with little cooldown. Indeed, Ophelia's damage stems mostly from spamming her third skill, Card of Fortune Valkia, because it can reset after use. Because she has not used a skill yet at the start of a battle, you'll see that there is no card above her head. This means that the first skill she uses in battle will not result in any additional effects, because she hasn't been able to possess or consume a card yet, right? However, she does have a Transcendence perk that will grant you a card at the start of battle. You can choose either her Pathfinder of Fate Light Transcendence perk or her Pathfinder of Fate Dark Transcendence perk. The Pathfinder of Fate's Light Transcendence perk will grant her the card of Death at the beginning of a battle, and the Pathfinder of Fate's Dark Transcendence perk will grant her the card of Love at the beginning of a battle. However, please note that the damage boost and healing effects will be removed from these cards. Here is an example of the start of a battle with her Light Transcendence perk for Pathfinder of Fate. And this is an example of how the start of a battle may look like when using her Dark Transcendence perk for Pathfinder of Fate. Do you see how the Light and Dark Transcendence perks change the beginning of the battle? I feel like Viraz Trophy, one of the raiders on the Reddit forum, gave an excellent summary of her skill combinations. Because of the nature of her skills, it is best to manual her, for example, spam her S3 continuously, or use her S2, S3, S2, S3 loop. However, if you put her on auto, she'll tend to be just fine, but I feel like that's just true for most heroes in King's Raid, right? They won't be the most effective if you don't manual them, but auto tends to be fine for most content. I feel like most raiders will tell you that she is a very versatile hero in terms of not only her role, but in the content she's used in. Overall, it seems like she can be used in most PvE content. And how does she fare in PvP, you may ask? Ah yes, I've met many a scary Ophelia in the arena in my days. She does have a Dispel, which tends to be very useful in the arena. Furthermore, the fact that you can spam her S3, which is the main source of her damage, well, works pretty well in the arena too. Not to mention her S3 cannot miss, which is very helpful against any enemies who have dodge statistics. Before we wrap up the episode, I want to congratulate and thank Gwyn, Shining Oscar, Vermilion88, and Epis is my waifu, I see you are a man of culture as well, on providing excellent tips on Erze, Glenwis, and Lias from the last What Do You Know video. I really appreciate it, you guys. I alluded to this earlier in the video, but we are hosting a short story contest! Your task is to write a short story featuring Ophelia as the main character, and your story should be approximately 500 words long, which is one page single-spaced. If you are up for the task, dear readers, be sure to visit the description box below, which will give you more details on how to enter. One raider who writes an interesting, creative, intriguing story will win a random unique weapon ticket and a random unique treasure ticket. One raider who showed immense effort and creativity in writing their story will receive a random unique weapon ticket, and another raider who did similarly well will receive a random unique treasure ticket. You're gonna enter the short story contest, aren't you? If you don't enter the short story contest, those random unique weapon tickets and random unique treasure tickets will be all mine. And as always, after you subscribe to our YouTube channel, please click the notification bell to receive updates on when we upload next.